In the words of Steve Jobs, innovation distinguishes between a leader and a follower. Today we're embarking on a journey through one of the most influential speeches of the 21st century, Steve Jobs' Stanford commencement address. A man who needs little introduction, Jobs was the visionary co-founder of Apple Inc., and his revolutionary ideas transformed the tech industry and our daily lives in unimaginable ways. This speech, delivered to a crowd of young, eager minds, is a testament to his genius, his resilience, and his profound understanding of life and its challenges. In this video, we'll dissect this iconic address in 5 distinct sections, each highlighting a different facet of Jobs' wisdom and experiences. From his humble beginnings to the trials and triumphs that shaped him, to his views on love, loss, and facing the inevitable, we'll delve into the profound insights Jobs shared with the world. So, buckle up as we take a deep dive into one of the greatest speeches ever delivered by a tech titan. Steve Jobs started his speech with a story about his birth. He was born to 2 University of Wisconsin graduate students who decided to put him up for adoption. Jobs' biological parents had one condition for the adoption, that the adoptive parents should be college graduates. However, Jobs was adopted by a couple who hadn't graduated from college, Paul and Clara Jobs. This twist of fate, as he liked to call it, set the stage for his unique perspective on life. While living with his adoptive parents in Mountain View, California, a place that would later be known as Silicon Valley, Jobs encountered his first brush with electronics. This was a neighborhood filled with engineers, and it was this environment that sparked his interest in the world of technology. As a young boy, he would tinker around with gadgets and parts that he found in his neighbors' garages, nurturing a curiosity that would eventually lead him to create one of the most influential tech companies in the world. His early life was not without challenges. Jobs struggled with formal schooling, often finding himself at odds with the traditional education system. However, it was this very struggle that led him to seek knowledge outside the confines of a classroom. He developed a lifelong love for learning that was self-driven, a trait that would later become a cornerstone of his career. His early interest in electronics, coupled with his unconventional approach to education, laid the groundwork for his career. The start of his career was not a straight path. It was filled with trials and errors, successes and failures. But each experience, each setback, and each triumph played a crucial role in shaping the visionary that Steve Jobs would become. From an early age, Jobs was not one to follow the crowd, a trait that would mark his career and legacy. In the next part of his speech, Jobs talks about his time at Reed College and his decision to drop out. Jobs' journey wasn't a straight path. It was a road filled with twists and turns, a road that led him to Reed College. But after 6 months, he couldn't see the value of it. He didn't know what he wanted to do with his life and how college was going to help him figure it out. So he made the audacious decision to drop out. To some, it might have seemed like he was throwing away an opportunity. But Jobs, he was just getting started. He was free to explore, to follow his intuition and curiosity. He began to drop in on the classes that piqued his interest. One of those was a calligraphy class. It was beautiful, historical, and artistically subtle in a way that science couldn't capture. He found it fascinating. Little did he know, this class would come to shape much of our digital world's typography. After dropping out, Jobs lived a minimalist life. He slept on the floor in friends' rooms, returned Coke bottles for food money, and got weekly free meals at the local Hare Krishna temple. A far cry from what you'd expect from a future tech mogul, right? But it was during this period, in the crucible of struggle and exploration, that the seeds of Apple were sown. Jobs' belief in the power of curiosity and intuition, his audacity to follow his own path, led him to start Apple in his parents' garage. The rest, as they say, is history. Yet this wasn't about becoming a billionaire or revolutionizing technology. It was about the passion for innovation, the drive to create something new, something that could change the world. It was about following that inner voice, even when the world was telling you otherwise. Jobs' decision to drop out was a defining moment in his life that eventually led to the birth of Apple. Jobs then moves on to discuss his firing from Apple and how it impacted him. He was, in his words, publicly outed from the company he had poured his heart and soul into. The world watched as the man who had once been the face of the tech revolution was unceremoniously let go from his own brainchild. It was a bitter pill to swallow, but Jobs being Jobs, he didn't let the setback deter him. Instead, he channeled his energy and passion into new ventures, Next and Pixar. Next may not have been the commercial success he had hoped for, but it did give us the foundation for what we now know as macOS, iOS, and other Apple technologies. As for Pixar, well, it revolutionized the animation industry and brought us some of the most beloved characters and stories of all time. And then there was the triumphant return to Apple. Jobs didn't just come back, he came back with a vengeance. He led the company to heights it had never seen before, giving us revolutionary products like the iPod, iPhone, and iPad. His love for his work, his resilience, his refusal to settle for anything less than excellence. It all shone through in the products he created and the legacy he left behind. But Jobs didn't just teach us about resilience in the face of adversity. He also taught us about the importance of doing what you love. He once said, "The only way to do great work is to love what you do." For Jobs, it was never about the money or the fame. It was about creating products that would change the world. It was about making a dent in the universe. Jobs' journey reminds us that setbacks can often be setups for even greater comebacks. His story is a testament to the power of passion, resilience, and the belief that doing what you love can indeed change the world. In the final part of his speech, Jobs discusses his confrontation with death. It came not in the form of a distant abstract concept, but as a very real and immediate threat. When he was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, a diagnosis like that would be enough to shake anyone to their core. But for Jobs, it served as a wake-up call, a stark reminder of the impermanence of life and the relentless march of time. He found himself staring into the abyss, grappling with the fact that his time on Earth was finite. This was not a theoretical exercise, but a reality that he had to come to terms with. And in doing so, he discovered a profound truth, one that would reshape his perspective on life and drive him to new heights of achievement. Jobs realized that time is our most precious resource. It's the one thing we can never get more of, no matter how hard we try. Every second that ticks by is a second we'll never get back. And so, he reasoned, we must make the most of the time we have. We must not waste it living someone else's life, trapped by dogma, or mired in the belief that we have all the time in the world. The inevitability of death, rather than being a source of fear or despair, became for Jobs a powerful motivator. It pushed him to pursue his passions, to take risks, to live his truth. He understood that death is the destination we all share, the ultimate equalizer. It's life's change agent, clearing out the old to make way for the new. Jobs' confrontation with death didn't lead to a retreat from life, but rather a deeper engagement with it. He challenged us to embrace the certainty of our own mortality and to use it as a catalyst to live our best lives. Jobs' speech ends on a sobering yet inspiring note, reminding us all to live each day as if it were our last. As we come to the end of our journey through Steve Jobs' Stanford speech, we are left with some profound lessons. We've unpacked the essence of his words, revealing the importance of following your intuition and the strength in resilience when faced with failure. Jobs taught us that true fulfillment comes from doing what we love and not being afraid to start over when things don't go as planned. His words resonate on a deeper level when he addresses the inevitability of death. It's a stark reminder of our mortality, pushing us to live each day to its fullest and to leave a lasting impact on the world. In the context of today's world, these lessons are more relevant than ever. Jobs' wisdom encourages us to embrace change, to innovate, and to continue striving for excellence in all aspects of life. In the end, Steve Jobs' speech is a testament to his genius, not just as a tech innovator, but as a philosopher of life, leaving us with lessons that continue to inspire millions around the world.